Hello guys, have you wondered if it's possible to build a spreadsheet similar to Excel on Bubble? That's what we are going to learn today. I mean, a spreadsheet that you can change the column size, the columns, uh, the row size, for example. You can delete cells, like you can select these four and press delete, and you delete the rows you selected. You can change the name like this, you know. You can delete the content of the cell, you see. Let's right here, still again. Also, you can add new rows. For example, let's add new third rows, you see. Then you can go, for example, to Google Sheets, and you can copy those cells, and then you come here to the app and you press Ctrl V, and you paste all the cells from there direct here to Bubble. Also, you can create new columns. For example, column test 1, and the column was created. Here about the spreadsheet, the first thing you need to know is that it's a plugin. So here on Bubble, search for this plugin, JSON Table, Spreadsheet, Excel. It's a page plugin, but I don't remember the price, but I remember it's cheap one. After you install this plugin, the first thing you have to know about it is that this plugin, you need to put it in the Bubble editor, you see here. And this plugin works by using JSON body, you know. So you need a JSON body for the columns and a JSON body for the lines. So in the first example I showed you, here you can see we have the columns, right? And below we have the rows. So how can we structure this table in a JSON body? So that same table, I put the JSON body here in a text to you see. So for example, we have a first name, last name, name, title, headline. And if you see here, they are the name of the columns. But you need to put more information in each object here. So it must have an ID, a header, a order, a type, and the column width. So the ID is the header. Most of the time they are the same, right? The order is the order that the column is. So for example, first name is in the first column, you see. Last name is in the second one. And so on. The rows, each object here, it has the first name, the last name, the title. For example, this first object, it's Carlos, Realtor. So Carlos, Realtor, real estate specialist, you see? The second line, William, so William, and so on. And let's suppose now that I would like to find a valid email for each user. So each contact here, each user, I want to find a valid email. So how could I manipulate those objects in order to have an email to each of them here? So first of all, I need to add a new column, right? So what I have to do is, let me copy this one. I put comma, and then let's call it valid email. Valid email. And here the column name is valid email. The order is 14, right? The type of data is a text. We can put type of data, for example, a number as well, or yes or no, for example. The column width, let's keep 200. And here, in each object, I should put like valid email, and here the email, like email1@gmail.com, for example. For this guy, William, it's the same, like William for this other guy, Eric, right? And we have to do this for all the contacts here. So this is the logic behind. So let me show you how can you manipulate this JSON in order to add new columns and the new field for each of the contact here. So what you can do, for example, you can find API that provides you a valid email, and when the API return the data, it will return a JSON, right? And most of the time, it will return this data by using a webhook, because most of the time to find emails or phones, it takes a while, correct? So you can set here a webhook that will receive the valid emails. So now I will show you how can you manipulate the JSON for the columns and for the rows. so for the data list, in order to get a logic like this that will add this object for the columns and this new field here in each object we have. So for the column is easy, right? So you need to add a new you need to add a new text that is an object in this case. And talking about the database, I created a table that has a field in a list of texts for the columns. And this same table, we have another field that is a list of texts to get the data for the rows, you know. So for the columns, we have to add a new object called valid ID, or sorry, a valid email. The header is valid email. The order is the sum of the previous list I have in the column field plus 1, right? So if it was 13, now the order must be 14, right? Type text and column width 200. So I add this new object on the previous list I have. For the rows, for the data, it's a little bit more complex because we are not just adding a new text, a new object text, right? What I am doing here, I am adding a new row, a new field in each object I have, correct? So for example, if I have 100 objects here, I have to add this valid email field in each of them. So what I am doing here, I am changing the text of all the objects text saved I have in my database. That's what I am doing here. So how did I do that? So I am getting the list I have saved on my database. Then I put format as text. So in format as text, I put this text and then find and replace. And I am changing this. I forgot the name of this in English, but I am changing this by comma, valid email, and then I put the data I am receiving from the API. What's the problem here? I am receiving from the API a list of emails, right? And when I use the format as text, I am changing one by one, right? So from the email list I am receiving, I need to know what's the correct number. I need to know what's the correct number because I need to parse that email and link that email with the correct user I have, right? And the way I found to do that, I put request data, each item contact most probable email. So the most the email the email list I am receiving, I need to parse now the correct item from this email list. If I am receiving the emails list in the same order I have the users, you know, so I can use these users numbers to parse the correct email from that list, you know. So user number one is with the email one, user number two is with the email number two, user number three is with email number three. So I put here item. I am searching for all the list I have of the rows, right? Then I use this format as text. And here comes the secret. I use split by, and then I put this text. But this text is referent of the text of the the what I am searching here. So the object I am using. So for example, if I am using the object number three here, so this text is this object number three here, right? What I do after, I put first item, you know, so the first item is going to be all of these, for example, actually would be like this. So this. So the first item will be all of these. Then I split by this sign here. And then I count. Why I do that? Because I will have, I put here instead of comma, I used this sign here, right? So I am counting this. So I have 1 and 2, right? So the count will be number 2. But actually, it's supposed to be number 3, right? Because I am testing with this object here. And if it is the first object, it's supposed to be number 1, right? The count's supposed to be number 1 because I am linking email number 1 with user number 1. That's the reason I put another conditional here format as text, that when the count is 0, the number is 1. And if the count is more than, is not 0, so if the count here is not 0, I use the same logic, but the count will be the count we have here, like 1 and 2 plus 1. So I am linking the email number 3 with the user number 3 in this example, right? So this is the logic behind here. I know for the rows, it's a little bit complex, but this is the way you can manipulate the JSON. you receive, for example, from an API to insert like a new column and the data for this new column you added. And by doing that, there are so many things you can do, right? So for example, you can get a table finding companies. This data here I received from an API, and I get the JSON from the API. Therefore, I can build this table, right? And for example, I can insert a new column here called like website scraped, and I can scrape the data from each of company here, each website, and get specific data I want. So for example, I can use ChatGPT, but ChatGPT and or any other AI, sometimes it doesn't scrape the website. And when it's not possible, you can use a service, for example, firecrawl.io. I think that's the name. No, it's firecrawl. This one, firecrawl.dev. You can create an account here. It's for free, and you would have, if I'm not wrong, 500 credits. So you can use this to scrape websites. And I like this feature here, extract, because in this feature you extract data from websites, not just from that URL. You extract from other related URLs related to that one, you know. So it's scraped from different pages in the same website. So that's the reason I think this service here is really powerful. So this is just one example of an API you can use to scrape data uh, for each company here, you know.